I just came to the realization that, like, if you're 40 years old, you're like you're never gonna find love. Like, oh my god, sorry, I woke up like really, really emotional because I was married for, oh my god, I need to stop. um I was married for over 20 years, and like I was so used to being a wife. Like, I loved being married, you know? Like, I love being a wife. I love having like that one person I love coming home to and like venting all my to. And now it's like, yeah, you date people and like sparks fly, and then it's just like, oh, I found better, you know?
This is another classic case of a woman who had a loyal husband, a stable home, and 20 years of shared history and still said, "I'm bored." So she left. Why? Because the spark was gone. Ma'am, it's a marriage, not a fireworks display. Then she met some new guy who gave her butterflies, which, let's be honest, was just emotional instability wearing cologne, and thought she'd struck gold. A few brunch dates and a couple backseat makeout sessions later, he vanished, just like her metabolism did in her 30s. Now she's in her 40s on TikTok with tears in her eyes, wondering why dating is so hard. She left the man who chose her at her worst, and now she's shocked that men aren't lining up to wife her, when her idea of romance is sending memes at midnight. Let's be real, she didn't leave because he was a bad man. She left because Instagram told her she could do better. Now she's out here in the dating pool, where the deep end is full of red flags and the shallow end is full of dudes asking for feet pics. She chased the spark and ended up with smoke, screenshots, and solo dinners. That's not empowerment. That's self-sabotage in high heels.
I was talking to my ex again, and there was a TikTok, there was a, I had a fan on here, a TikTok follower that messaged me, and she said, hey, I started talking to this guy, and I noticed on his Instagram, like those highlight reels, you were in one of his highlight reels, like you guys made a TikTok together. And I was like, oh yeah, that's my boyfriend, because we were like trying to work things out. It was long distance, whatever. And she's like, oh, well, we're talking, he said he was single. And I'm like, I'm not even crying about that. I think I'm just more sad about the fact that, like, it's impossible to find someone that you will 100% trust. And part of it has to do with me too, because of my insecurities. But honestly, 99% of the time it's because they're cheating, you know, because it's so accessible. Social media, talking to other women. Why do I still have my seatbelt on?
Ladies and gentlemen, this man didn't just bounce back. He leveled up. Went from husband to player of the year, full transformation, new stats, new jersey, whole new league. She left thinking he'd be at home in a hoodie, crying into a pillow, blasting sad songs, and eating ice cream straight from the tub. Nope. Instead, he hit the gym, hit the glow up, and hit reset. Now, he's got options, like Netflix, but in real life. He's out here double booking emotions like it's Open Table. And the plot twist? He turned the same woman who divorced him into his midweek side quest. She really thought she could just stroll back in like it was still her show. She thought she was the main character. Turns out she's now a recurring guest star with no lines and limited screen time. She figured he'd always be there, waiting around while she found herself. But he evolved. He moved on. And now she's trying to circle back, while he's out here managing a roster like a seasoned coach with a championship lineup.
So I know everybody's heard all these crazy dating stories, and I haven't been on a date since I was with the last guy. And I'm like seriously considering never dating again. I see all these horror stories. Um, it's the guys that, like me are not the kind of guys I like. Just so much to it. And especially being in my 50s and not being skinny, it just is such a challenge that I don't even know if I want to bother anymore. I just don't know if I should just grow old by myself. I'm already old, but older. Sorry about my hair. But I don't know. I mean, what is your opinion on this dating situation? I don't find anybody that's really been happy or successful with it.
And she's out here still saying, those men aren't my type. At 50, your type retired. Your type found a younger model. Your type is too busy golfing in Florida with a woman who brings him lunch without starting a ton of arguments. At this point, your type should be breathing, loyal, and has a functioning hip. Dating at 50 ain't romantic. It's musical chairs. And the music stopped 3 husbands ago.
I'm 42 years old. I'm a single mother. And a lot of people write to me on here or in the comments or even in the wild, and they will say that women, especially of my age, are still single because we have unreasonably high standards. And I don't think it's unreasonable, but I do think and know that our standards are quite high because we've been through enough to know what we want and what we don't want. However, speaking for myself and probably a lot of other people out there, maybe men and women, I'm done trying. I don't want to try anymore.
She's not just looking for a man. Oh no, she wants a healed, handsome, high-earning, emotionally intelligent alpha male with no kids, no issues, perfect communication, and who's also okay raising hers. Basically, Jesus with a gym membership. And when people tell her her standards are too high, she says, "No, I just know my worth." Ma'am, your worth is competing with 25-year-olds who come with less mileage, no baggage, and fewer court dates with their baby daddy. Listen, it's not that there are no men. It's that the men don't want to pay luxury prices for a product that's been refurbished and still comes with attitude.
Hi. Had a first date this week with a guy who, same age as me. So we go out and we're sitting there. Everything seems to be going well. And then he proceeds to tell me that I am the oldest woman he's ever been on a date with. Wow. So what's the oldest woman you've ever been on a date with? 31, he says. 31. Okay. So you're telling me that a mature woman doesn't think you're a good catch. It must be a really hard thing for you to admit to me, and I'm so glad you did. I really want you to know I appreciate your honesty. I don't think I'm going to hear from him again at all, and I'm okay with that.
You're mad that this man, who's your age, used to date women with collagen? You wanted him to say what? 48? 52? Oh yes, before you, I was dating women who collect pensions and prune coupons. This is the dating equivalent of showing up late to the buffet and getting mad that the hot wings are gone. You don't cancel a man for telling you the truth just because it doesn't flatter your fantasy. He dated younger women? So what? At least you were the upgrade with arthritis. But hey, if hearing 31 sends you into rage mode, dating probably isn't your sport. Thanks for watching. Kindly hit the like button and subscribe for more.